Welcome back to my channel, Teaching Learning English. As you know, in this channel we talk about the English language, IELTS practice, business communication and other writing skills. Sometimes we talk about the English grammar also. Today in this video I am going to describe a little bit about what is restricted and non-restricted meanings. You know, the meaning of noun most of the time is sometimes restricted by the different words and phrases, or let's say clause also, and sometimes not. The relative clause most of the time restrict the meaning. For example, if you say the children, the meaning of children is very much wide open, it is not restricted. But if you say the children who live in the next door, who live in the next door actually restrict the meaning of the children. It means it is not referring to the children all over the world, but just mentioning to the children who live in the next door. And similarly, prepositional phrase also restrict the meanings. For example, a king means king, the meaning is not restricted. But if you say the king of Denmark, at that time it is restricted, because the king of Denmark actually restrict the meaning of king. Similarly, butter toast is not restricted meanings. But if you say hot butter toast, or if you say the hot butter toast, then at that time the hot, it means the adjectives actually restrict the meaning of the toast. Similarly, these books, and if you say this latest history book, if you say latest history, at that time also you restrict the meaning of these books. So different types of clause, for example, mainly the relative clause, prepositional phrase and adjectives, they restrict the meaning of the noun. So restrictive and non-restrictive. Non-restrictive means wide meaning, wide open meaning, and restrictive means limited meanings. Okay, here are some more examples also. Let me go to the examples, more examples. For example, if you say the sentence, she loved to talk about her sister who lived in Paris. And similarly, she loved to talk about her sister who lived in Paris. So in the first sentence, before relative clause there is no comma. But in the second sentence, there is comma in between the first clause and second clause. So the meaning is, if you say she loved to talk about her sister who live in Paris, without comma, it means the relative clause that has restricted the meaning of she loved to talk about her sister who lives in Paris. It means the sisters, there might be many sisters, and she has more than one sister at least, but she loved to talk about the sister who lives in Paris. But in the second sentence, the relative clause, she loved to talk about the sister who live in Paris. It means the sister who live in Paris, it means she doesn't have more than one sister, the same sister, and she is giving the extra information by the relative clause. So without comma, it is the restrictive relative clause. Without comma, you can say that non-restrictive, because we are not going to restrict the information, restrict the meaning of the sister. What we are trying to do is we are trying to give the extra information about her sister. And similarly, sometimes the adjective, there are some adjectives, they also don't restrict the meaning. For example, the patriotic Americans have great respect for their country's constitution. The patriotic Americans have their great respect to their respect for their country's constitution. It means the word patriotic does not restrict the meaning of Americans, because it is the constitution, and every American, they have the respect about their constitution. So such type of adjectives, they do not actually restrict the meaning of the noun. Similarly, the hungry workers attack the house of rich employees. So the hungry workers attack the house of rich employees. Here also the word hungry does not restrict the meaning of workers, because the workers of the same company, they attack to the house of their rich employees. Similarly, sometimes the order of the adjectives and order of the word that also restrict the meanings, or there is the difference in meaning on the basis of the the word order. For example, her last great novel and her great last novel. So you can sense the difference between these two expressions. In the first sentence, her last great novel means this is non-restrictive, restrictive. Her last great novel. The word last has made the novel restricted. But if you say her great last novel, it doesn't mean that it is restricted. This is non-restrictive meanings. So the order of the word also gives them restricted and non-restricted meanings. So in this way, we have to understand that the meaning of the noun is can be understood as restricted and non-restricted if it is used with the relative clause, prepositional phrase, and some adjectives at that time. They often restrict the meaning of the noun, but in other times noun's meaning is non-restricted. Thank you very much and stay safe. And if you have not subscribed my channel, please subscribe it, and you can give me the feedbacks, and you can ask some questions also if you like. Thank you very much.